Welcome to Mother's Day weekend.
And welcome to the Crystal Springs Rhododendron Garden.
And welcome to another episode of Garden Time.
Welcome to Garden Time and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
And what would a Mother's Day be without rhododendron blooms? Later on in the show, we're going to be talking to Red Cavender at the Crystal Springs Rhododendron Garden about their wonderful annual Mother's Day plant sale.
And also coming up in the show today, we'll be giving you an update about one of our local pests, the stink bug.
We're also going to be showing you some different bloom colors that are wonderful for Mother's Day.
But first, all about salvias.
Well, it is such a delight to be here with Sarah at Portland Nursery on Stark Street. And Sarah, I have heard, Little Bird told me that this is the year of the salvia. Have you heard that?
Yes, I did hear that from the same bird, I think.
Right, exactly. So I'm wondering though, it is such a big family. The salvia family is massive and there's so many different types in there. So let's quickly go over what that means.
Yeah, so I mean, when people come in saying they are looking for salvia, we've got annual, perennial, herb, short and stocky, big and whimsical,
right.
little flower, big flower. So we narrowed it down for people to kind of have the best salvias that we sell. And I'm going to just come right out and say I was not ever a fan of salvia until I saw them in their element. You know, when you look at a salvia in a pot, it doesn't look very
Right.
great.
And proof of that is one of the ones you picked here, which is May Night. You saw it in this form and you went, but then you saw it in a neighbor's yard, is that right?
Yeah.
And you went, oh my.
Yes, because it's got short, stocky, very upright vertical shape that clumps together, and you don't get that from a lot of other plants.
Right.
Almost kind of like euphorbia can maybe do that a little bit, but it gives the eye some different texture, because that's the key to design is different textures, different shapes. So it is probably, I would say now, in my mind, a staple in a yard.
And one of your favorite things.
Yes, yeah, and it just, it blooms for a long time, it's easy maintenance, it always
And a
is
perennial,
looking good.
it comes back.
Yes.
So that even makes it better.
Yeah, so I mean, it's if of all the salvias, I would say that's my favorite.
And then when I look right next door here, this one is stunning, but not a perennial.
But
it's
an annual,
right.
so that's its downside for me, because
So tell
I
me
like
about that
perennial
one.
stuff. Yeah, but I mean, look at the size of flowers that those are going to have, and hummingbirds love it, so that's an extra plus. So this one's gorgeous, but an annual.
Right, which is fine because of its beauty.
Yes.
And
I need to respect annuals a little.
You do.
I'm learning. And then this is Salvia Hot Lips, which is going to be more of the whimsical variety. And this one we have a really hard time keeping in stock as well. But it's got red and white flowers that the hummingbirds go crazy for, and a totally different look than the other two.
It does indeed, and that's one of the things I like about the family is that they have different leaf structures. Oftentimes the colors are different. And this one, I have to say, a lot of us, when we have sold this one, people have complained because it comes out red, which is true. And then it turns, that bottom lip turns to white. So don't be afraid if you get it and you think it's the wrong one. Give it time; it'll turn to that beautiful blue and white.
Yeah, and the red is very bright. You can see it from far away.
You're not going to miss it.
Yeah.
And then, speaking of the stuff we can eat, though, there are other kinds of salvias that are in the herb garden.
Yes.
This one we sell as an herb, but tell me about it down front there.
Yeah, last week we talked about some herbs, and there are a ton of salvia herbs, not just the ones we covered. But this one is the pineapple sage. It's got the bright red flowers and such a sweet flavor. And so that one is a great one because it's got the real ornamental pop, the really bright red, but you can use it as an herb as well. So that is.
And then tell me, because you guys do so much business and sales to so many people here, you get a lot of good opinions. What do you think have been like maybe a couple of the top bestsellers for you?
Definitely the pineapple sage, the hot lips. May Night had its year like 5 or 6 years ago. Everybody wanted May Night, and then it kind of dropped off. But also the salvia black and blue is huge. That one gets really tall. It's got a really deep blue flower. kind of bigger flower that people really like, almost kind of similar to this one. So those I would say are definitely the top.
Well, I have to say it is a magnificently huge family, and salvias come in all shapes and sizes. And if you want a really great selection, all you have to do is go to Portland Nursery and look what they have, and then pick some that work specifically for what your dreams are in your own garden. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thanks.
Since 1982, the Wall has been making local gardens beautiful, naturally. Whether you need a new wall, concrete patio, fire pit, or driveway, the Wall's expert craftsmen can build it. We back up our work with a 5-year warranty, so you'll know it'll last. We use the highest quality materials, including stamped colored concrete, natural stone, and we're the leader in using recycled concrete. Create an outdoor environment you'll enjoy for years, with the help of your friends at The Wall.
Welcome to Blooming Junction, where it's easy to connect with nature. At Blooming Junction, you'll find beautiful, healthy plants, good, fresh food, and a place to regain peace and calm in your life. We have an unsurpassed collection of unique and distinctive plants and the expertise to help any gardener be successful. And we feature Blooming Advantage plants. Come check out Blooming Junction for an inspiring experience in the garden or in the kitchen. Blooming Junction, offering quality plants for beautiful gardens.
Celebrate a spring tradition. Visit the Hulda Klager Lilac Gardens during the annual Lilac Days. Open daily from 10 to 4. See hundreds of blooming lilacs. Tour Hulda's Victorian home and gift shop. Take exit 21 off I-5 in Woodland, Washington.
Since 1926, the Bonide Company has worked with homeowners to make their homes and gardens beautiful. If you have a garden problem, Bonide has the answer. Repel moles, gophers, and other ground-burrowing critters with Mole Max from Bonide. Clean and biodegradable, it's safe to use around children, plants, and pets. Visit Bonide.com to find a local retailer and to download your free Bonide Problem Solver app for your iPhone or Droid.
Build a beautiful home inside and out at French Prairie Perennials. Inside, we have just the right creative elements to complete your decor. We offer an oasis of unusual, nature-inspired garden and home gifts and accessories. Outside, choose from our wide selection of unique dwarf conifers and sparkling companion plants. French Prairie Perennials, located between Woodburn and Wilsonville. Take exit 278 to Aurora and French Prairie Perennials.
It is Mother's Day weekend, and you have to come out to Crystal Springs Rhodie Gardens. It's just spectacular. This is the time to come, Red, isn't it?
Oh yes, certainly. The garden's in peak bloom right now, and there's a big plant sale going on in the parking lot, and a show that opens at noon today in the exhibit hall. And the great thing about the show is you can see things in bloom and then go up and buy them in the plant sale.
That is right. So this is Red Cavender, and you're a member of the Rhodie Society. So
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the history of the Rhodie Society and this garden, because it's integral partnership.
Well, the American Rhododendron Society was founded here in Portland, and in the 50s this was briar patch. And we were given permission by the city of Portland to develop it as a rhododendron garden. And everything you see, all the paths, all the plants, everything in this garden was built without taxpayer money. It was all from donations, admissions, and plant sales.
It's an amazing group of people, so many wonderful volunteers that come out and work and make this a beautiful place.
Right, we have volunteers every Wednesday. You're welcome to come join and pull
Sure,
weeds.
there you go. And so tell us exactly what we're going to see like this time of year. What's going to happen this weekend?
Well, the plant sale's going on. It opened at 9. Lots of rhodies, and we have 4 companion plant vendors with a nice variety of things, and 1 art vendor.
Oh.
And then the cut flower show opens at noon and runs both days.
And that's a judged one. You're going to see
That
some
is
winners.
judged.
People bring their
Oh,
trusses
yes.
to be judged and say the best of show.
I'm going to be picking flowers Friday.
That is wonderful. And you know, just to walk around the paths, I think with your family, this is a peak time to
yeah.
come for the whole month of May, but really any time is wonderful to come.
Oh, it is. The garden's beautiful. Really, well, it's at its peak now, but it's a great place year-round because of all the companion plants and even a bald eagle floating around.
There is, and all of the waterfowl. They're just so entertaining. There's a lot of baby ducks and things, and it's so wonderful to see. Red, this is the Crystal Springs Rhododendron Garden, but really it's so much more than that.
Oh yeah, so there's a huge palette of colors, basically a rainbow. We have big rhododendrons that are 75 years old or more, evergreen azaleas. The deciduous azaleas are just gorgeous with their flaming yellow and orange colors.
Wow. So I know that we always come and you buy plants, you take a walk, but there's a little bit different thing going on this year. So tell us about the parking.
Well, the city is no longer going to allow parking on 28th Street. So please don't park on 28th. You'll get a very expensive ticket. There is parking directly across the street in the Reed parking lot, and there's another Reed parking lot off of Steele. And we will have a shuttle running from that parking lot to the garden, and we'll also have flyers with directions. So just be careful. Don't park on 28th.
No, you want to have a good day with your family and everything. So really today, watch the rest of the show and then come out to Crystal Springs with your mom or your family or friends. It's just lovely today and tomorrow. The whole month is going to be wonderful beauty with rhodies and azaleas, other plants. So for more information, go to Garden Time. We'll click you over to their website and you get all that information. Thanks, Red.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Locally grown, fresh from the farm, stylish and sustainable, your dream yard starts at Owl's Garden & Home. Create an inviting gathering place with a new patio furniture collection. Our beautiful furniture transforms any outdoor space, large or small. It's like having an extra room outdoors. Then add impact with colorful pottery. Hundreds of unique designs and sizes, all on sale now. Owl's Garden & Home in Woodburn, Sherwood, Gresham, and Wilsonville.
When you plant your flower baskets and containers this year, consider Black Gold All-Purpose Potting Mix for the best results. This worm castings enriched, well-drained potting soil has a controlled release fertilizer to feed your plants up to 6 months. Black Gold All-Purpose Potting Mix now contains resilience for enhanced plant growth. Available at garden centers everywhere. For more information, visit blackgold.bz. All the riches of the earth.
DRAM is celebrating 75 years of design and manufacturing of quality watering tools. DRAM products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. DRAM for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
Create a beautiful living space both inside and out with the help of Terra Casa.
Outside, you'll find pottery, fountains, and decor to make your garden unforgettable.
And inside, there are home furnishings and just the right accents to make your home warm, inviting, and most importantly, comfortable.
Terra Casa has a huge selection of merchandise to fit any home or budget. Plus, we still have all the unique and distinctive gifts that you have come to expect from Terra Casa.
Terra Casa in downtown Damascus.
Come to where the color is. Come to Egan Gardens. We've worked hard growing healthy plants for you so that your gardening is easy. Add sparkle to your garden with our perennials, container plants, and skillfully designed baskets and planters.
Escape summer's heat, plant a shady retreat. Come see our great selection of shade plants, all kinds of begonias, coleus, upright fuchsias, and more.
Egan Gardens, where it's all about the plants. We're located west of I-5 at exit 263 on River Road.
Well, what a beautiful May day to come to the Rogerson clematis garden with Linda Buehler. And Linda, this is a beautiful day. Unbelievable. And of course, every time we come, there's different types or different species of clematis blooming. So what's happening this time of year?
Well, right behind us is Clematis montana subspecies grandiflora.
Beautiful.
Pretty grand, I would say. And this is the time of year when people want to come out. They don't come now because they want to see the large flowered hybrids, which I call, the showgirls.
Right,
and
but these are gorgeous.
These are gorgeous.
Yes.
And they're in full bloom now. So this one is a lovely white, really kind of a creamy white. We've got some of the pinks along the public pathway.
Just down here.
And so you'll see Tsunami Child down there. We have a young plant of Tetra Rose. These guys are also pretty fragrant. So Tetra Rose is considered the most fragrant of that group. And this one actually is scheduled this year for maintenance. We can see a lot of old growth from previous years.
I was wondering what you were going to do.
The new growth comes out over the top.
Okay.
So this year we're going to take this back to 2 feet tall.
Whoa.
So this is on a 4 by 10 foot arbor, and we'll take it back to 2 feet tall.
And should you do that every year with these types, or you can do it every several years?
You can do it every several years. So you can see that the old growth just comes down over the new growth,
weeping,
but at a certain point, you have to take some control. So the old wood.
Wow, they're really thick, yeah.
Yeah. You know, big around as my little skinny wrists, the only part of me that's skinny, and they will, we'll take it back that far. We'll take it back into that old growth, and probably most of the new growth will come back from underground, and it will pretty much have recovered this with new growth by the fall. But we do this when it's done blooming.
Sure.
Because that way we don't have to worry about messing up the bloom cycle.
Right, and thanks for telling us, because I think we all get nervous about doing pruning on clematis.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to another part of the garden and see some other beauty. So let's go.
Yes.
Now, Linda, what is the name of this garden?
We're in the Founder's Garden.
All right.
And Brewster Rogerson's favorite clematis of all the clematis were those in the Montana group.
Oh, okay.
Which has been a little bit of a trial, placing all of these big plants that get at a minimum about 20 feet tall.
And those are usually a smaller flower, but I see something with a larger flower, so how come?
Yeah, so another one of Brewster's favorites. This is an introduction that we were allowed to make from the breeder Sixten Woodberg in Sweden. So we named it Sixten's Gift, and it's right in front of Warwickshire Rose. And so you can do little color stories like this in your garden. If you pick the really early large flowered hybrids, then they'll flower at the same time as the Montanas.
That's a great idea, because we don't think about that. And so thank you for that tip.
Right. And then sort of over our shoulder, we have Clematis montana var Rubens, which is from the 1800s, so it's in our heirloom garden. We didn't have to cram it into Brewster's garden. And then over here on the big trellis, and that trellis is 10 feet tall, 4 feet wide, that's Vera.
Wow, wow. This is a beautiful garden at this time of year.
Yeah.
But any time of year, it's great to come here. But there's a special event coming up in the last week of weekend of May. So tell us about that.
Well, we are doing our Inviting Vines tour. It's always the last Saturday in May, which is usually Memorial Day weekend. And we have 4 private gardens open. One of them, at least, has never been open before. And so hopefully we'll get to show that to you. And tickets can be had through our website, or folks can come here to the garden on Fridays and Saturdays and buy tickets.
Oh, that is wonderful. It is a great tour to go to. And then you get to come to the garden here right at Lusher Farms to see all the other clematis. So go to gardentime.tv and you can click over to the Lusher Farm website and get all that information. Thanks so much. Happy spring.
You too.
Well, I am in the wonderful garden center of Terra Gardens here in Salem. I'm with Dan. And Dan, I want to talk about fruit trees, because this is the time of year when really, if you're going to plant them, it's the perfect time to plant them. But first of all, you guys have such an amazing selection here. Let's talk about that a bit.
We do. We have about 150 varieties of fruit trees. And that's kind of unusual in today's day and age, where everybody's reducing quantities.
Right.
We found that a lot of people have been coming here looking for the unusual. So we have common things like this cherry tree, and we have a lot less common things like jujube and persimmons, things that you don't see just everywhere.
You even have pawpaws, which I love those.
Yeah, we were just looking at the blooms on the pawpaws. Yeah, they're a wonderful fruit.
So the selection is great, and it is fun, and it can open up your garden to new flavors and tastes. But then, you know, there's also some questions that people have about fruit trees. You know, there was a time when they were big. All of them just were big. But let's talk about grafts and why they're important and how they happen.
Well, one of the most important things is that they're basically putting 2 trees together. You have a rootstock and the tree. And so this particular tree is a Stella cherry, but the rootstock is going to be a different type of cherry that helps to dwarf the tree. It gives it a little bit of disease resistance. And in Oregon, something very important, it helps resist the amount of wet, heavy clay soil that we have, so the tree will grow better here. Now, one of the things that is important to understand is this graft junction has to remain above ground, because if you bury the graft junction, you've lost it.
Right.
This part of the tree will then root out, or you could suffocate the trunk of the tree altogether and lose your baby tree.
So then let's talk about that. Let's talk about how we plant fruit trees. I see that you have a bag of soil here, but do you need a massive hole? Do you need tell me about planting them.
One of the things that I like to tell people is dig a hole about twice the width of the container that you're planting. Understand that with a lot of these trees, when you start to pull it out of the pot, soil may fall away, but we want to keep the soil as intact as possible. We're not looking at lacerating roots with a knife or chopping it up or anything. Keep it whole, keep it together, put it in the hole, and your drainage is really important. Remember, we don't want to stack dirt up against the trunk or soil. We want it to be right about where it is in the container. So we don't want to change that planting depth. If you change the planting depth, you change the nature of the tree and you ruin the graft.
So this level right here in the pot that you buy the tree in, that's the level you want to keep your soil once you plant it.
Either even with it, or have the outside soil, the regular soil of your ground, even an inch lower so that this is slightly above. If you've ever done much gardening in the Willamette Valley, you find that as soon as winter comes, a single shovelful of soil and that little hole that you made will fill up with water because our groundwater is so high and it rains so constantly. If this tree was sitting here and the ground soil was just a little above it,
you're just going to
during the first summer, it makes it easier to water. During the winter time, it never drains, and the tree will actually drown its first winter.
So I suspect that people are going to want to put these in their garden and expect fruit this year. What is the realistic expectation of that?
Well, you know, that's one of the unfortunate things is that trees have to mature before they start producing good fruit. And while it is possible that a baby tree will produce fruit, realistically you're looking at 2 to 3 years out on a good sized tree like this before it starts producing fruit. Little tiny trees take longer yet. They have to mature so that the root system and the structure of the tree will be able to support the fruit that it's going to give you.
So let's also talk about compost. A lot of people want to put stuff on their gardens, on their beds and perennials, all of that stuff. Sometimes I've seen like sawdust and bark dust a foot tall put on later on in life. You really don't want them to do that.
Yeah, it's really bad for trees. Trees have to actually breathe just like we do, but they breathe through their trunk, through their roots, through their leaves. And it's surprising to a lot of people that the woody parts of plants have to breathe too. And if you bury it, you will suffocate the tree.
Yeah.
The bare minimum is that you'll cause a very difficult growing situation for the tree. It kind of looks cool sometimes to have a big mound, but that mound should come to about here. Not up here.
Well, you know, there's all kinds of things that we love in gardens, and certainly having fruit trees is one of the biggest ones I enjoy. So if you're thinking about fruit trees, if you want to add to some that you already have, go to gardentime.tv. We'll click over to their website. You can come out, talk to them, make sure you start it right, and then harvest those wonderful fruits later. Thank you so much, Dan.
It's a great thing. Thank you.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
They had to take the car, they had to get it open with the jaws of life, take me out on a backboard, took me to a Trauma One center. I absolutely feel like the Subaru saved my life.
Well, we trust Capital. We trust our salesperson here, Jackie.
Jackie's great. I believe that she really cares about us.
She teaches me about the Subaru.
Our way on the Parkway.
Peonies, bold and beautiful, an old favorite, but ever new, and perfect for your garden. At Adelman Peonies, you'll find hundreds of different peonies, bush, ito, and tree peonies covering 20 acres. Come stroll the display garden, then find a special plant or bouquet to take home. Join us any day of the week for beautiful color or weekends for special events. Adelman Peonies is just east of I-5 at exit 263 on Brook Lake Road, or online at peonyparadise.com.
Dram is celebrating 75 years of design and manufacturing of quality watering tools. Dram products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. Dram for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
For over 100 years, Collier Arbor Care and Bartlett Tree Experts have provided tree and shrub care services to the Portland metropolitan area.
From large tree and small shrub pruning, tree removal, and stump grinding, we can handle all your tree care needs.
Our arborists diagnose and treat your toughest insect and disease problems.
We also have organic solutions for growing and maintaining healthy gardens, as well as organic nutrition for your trees and shrubs.
Collier and Bartlett, environmentally friendly since 1907.
At Sagawa Nursery, we talk about going beyond the ordinary. Whether it's new and exciting varieties of plants and shrubs, to our wide selection of unique Japanese maples, or our great collection of tools, garden products, and Asian-themed gifts, we can help transform your garden into something extraordinary. Come in and let us make your garden a showcase. Sagawa Nursery, growing beyond the ordinary.
I am at OSU this morning in Corvallis with Dr. David Lowenstein, and so today we're going to talk about a pest, and a couple years ago we did talk to someone else about it, and it's the brown marmorated stink bug. And so what do you call it?
BMSB.
A little bit easier to kind of reference it.
Yep, save some breath.
Yeah, and so what is your research project? What's going on with that these days?
Yeah, I work with biological control. That's the use of beneficial insects to manage other insects. So the insect I work with is called the samurai wasp. It's native to the same region as brown marmorated stink bug, and it is a small egg parasitoid. So it lays its eggs inside of stink bug eggs, preventing the stink bugs from hatching, and instead of 28 or so stink bugs, you get 28 wasps popping out of it.
That is so cool. So really there is some hope to kind of control this, because it is a damaging insect to some of the crops that we grow here in Oregon.
Yeah, we think that this is a good opportunity to try to manage BMSB using less insecticides because of the specialism between the samurai wasp and BMSB. They're from the same parts of Eastern Asia. They've made their way at different times to Oregon, Washington, other parts of the US, and we hope that they continue that specialist relationship from Asia here in the US.
So what kind of damage does the stink bug do to commercial crops?
Yeah, the stink bug can damage a variety of crops. Usually orchard crops, things like hazelnuts, apples, cherries. It can cause direct damage to the fruit with its piercing, sucking mouth part. So you might notice a hole on the outside of it, and when you peel back that skin, at least for apples and cherries, you'll notice a brown circle beneath it. Vegetables can also be damaged by BMSB. We get people who tell us about their peppers or their beans that are damaged by stink bugs, and you'll see these miscolored circles on them. Often you'll find the stink bug actually feeding on it, but there's not. The question is more, what do they not feed on?
And so could we actually see this happening? Could we observe that in our own gardens?
Absolutely. Stink bugs, they lay eggs beneath the foliage of trees. Usually it's about 25 to 28 egg masses. Just take a look under a leaf if you might notice them. They're bright green, and ordinarily they'll hatch after a few days into little stink bugs, but you might notice a samurai wasp. If you see a tiny little speck staying on top of the eggs, that'd be the wasp. After it lays its eggs, it guards them for a few days. About a week later, those eggs turn a dark black color, and 1 to 2 more weeks later, wasps will pop out of them.
And so be able to be more predators to more stink bugs.
Exactly.
That is so. And if we're worried about getting bit by these wasps, really they're so tiny, you're not going to have any kind of worry about that.
No, they can't pierce skin. We're talking 1.5 millimeters. Nothing. There's no way you're going to confuse this with the yellow jacket. And they're not interested in stinging people. They just want stink bug eggs.
Just to kind of go on with their own prodigy.
Exactly. They need stink bug eggs to reproduce, and they also might use nectar from flowers for energy.
So really good pollinators too.
Yep. What you have that's good for pollinators in your garden might be good for stink bug parasitoids like the samurai wasp as well.
Excellent. Well, great. We're all into that. That's really something important for all of us gardeners too. So what can we do to help? Can we be helpful researchers for you?
So we need your help in finding the samurai wasp. We know that it's in Portland. We know that it's making its way around the Willamette Valley. It's also in Vancouver, Washington, and we've started releasing the wasp in a couple places around the state. But this is a microscopic insect. It's pretty hard for us to find out where it is. So we could use the public's help in helping us locate where this wasp is moving. So one way to do that is if you spot BMSB eggs in your trees, before you get rid of them, wait a few days and come back and see what happens to them. Is there a little wasp that's guarding them? Have the eggs turned dark black? So if it's less than a week later and you see stink bug nymphs emerging, it's not parasitized. Do whatever you want with those eggs.
Right.
But if you see a wasp on it, or you see those eggs turn a dark black color, save the eggs. Either leave them on the tree, wait and see what happens, or just take the leaf off, put it in a jar, keep it near sunlight, and if wasps come out of that, that's a really good sign. You might have a samurai wasp. So let OSU Extension know about that find, and it'll come back to us at Oregon State University. We can confirm if it's the right species and find out if the samurai wasp is in your garden or in your neighborhood.
Well, it's been so much fun to kind of help, and it's so important because, you know, the researchers can't be everywhere. So we're going to have all that information on the Garden Time website, and you can also help in all of this research with the samurai wasp. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Interesting. This is the time that all the lilacs are blooming, and did you know that you can bring them right indoors so you can enjoy them on your counter? So it's also a great time to prune your lilacs too, because if you do it right after it's blooming or while they're blooming, you're not going to damage any of the buds that'll be forming for next year.
And then what we're going to do is prune this off, and then you can always, I cut a little bit long when I prune flowers for inside, because you can always make it shorter depending on how high you need them in the pot. Then you take off all the other parts. And then we're going to give you the tip on what we call pounding the stem, right?
Pounding the stems, yeah.
And the reason we're doing this is because it opens it up more and gives the water more ability to be sucked into the plant, extending the life. So you just take a hammer and just kind of smash it out like that. It just opens the whole base up, and that gives you more water. And then all you have to do, stick it into the arrangement for more beauty.
And if you want to see a beautiful collection of lilacs, you have to go up to Hulda Klager Lilac Gardens in Woodland, Washington. It is just a stunning sight to see. So go up and take a drive and enjoy the beauty of lilacs.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people. The Rose Festival is a tradition for families in Oregon, just like Portland Nursery. For over 100 years, the Rose Festival and Portland Nursery have brought beauty to our city and our gardens. Whether you're looking for something new or an old favorite, we have all the right plants to make your backyard your favorite destination. We even have the official Rose Festival rose available at our stores. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people. At 50th and Stark and 90th and Division.
Surround yourself with wonderful color this summer. It's time for the annual spring sale at Hydrangeas Plus. Hydrangeas are the perfect plant for any garden, large or small. We are cleaning out our nursery, so come and take some plants home to your garden. We're offering special once-a-year pricing on nearly everything we grow. Also, check out our selection of grasses and other blooming perennials. It's the annual spring sale at Hydrangeas Plus.
The irises are blooming. The Shriners Iris Display Garden is now open to the public. Surround yourself with a rainbow of color of over 500 irises, or take a stroll in our 10-acre display garden. Smell the fragrance as you see iris paired with other beautiful blooming plants. Check out our cut flower display and pick up something for that iris lover in our gift shop. Take home a cut flower bouquet or order some for your own garden. We're easy to find. Take the Brooks exit off I-5 and follow the signs. Nothing is more inviting than a garden full of beautiful clematis, and your chance to see the Queen of Vines is during the Inviting Vines Garden Tour on Saturday of Memorial Day weekend. Tour 4 private gardens in the Lake Oswego West Lynn area, then end your day at the Rogerson Clematis Collection at Lusher Farm. This year we're also offering 2 special ticketed breakfast and tea events. To find out more and where you can get your tickets, go to rogersonclematiscollection.org.
No matter what shade your green thumb is, you can find the plants and the help you need at Wavra Farms. We're filled with an astounding array of colorful plants to fill your garden. In addition to wonderful annuals and perennials, we are known for our hanging baskets. We also have all your garden essentials, and we have great garden gifts too. From beginner to expert, you'll find something new and different with every visit. Wavra Farms, located off Highway 22, exit 5, east of Salem.
I'm standing here with Brenda at the beautiful Garland Nursery, and you know, when we came here today, Brenda, I looked around and all I saw was a whole bunch of color,
yes.
and that's perfect because Mother's Day.
Yes, moms love color and moms love fragrance too. And one of our picks for your mom this weekend is the Bloomerang Dark Purple Lilac. It has a wonderful lilac fragrance, beautiful flowers, and it reblooms. If you give it a nice deadheading after it's done blooming the first time, it will send out flowers.
Which is really
several times.
only an extra bonus for this one because of that reblooming potential, which we've even heard it at the Lilac Garden up in Washington. They've said, no, we've had it, it works. So we have a witness.
Yes, so it's nice when something lives up to what they promise.
Right,
so
exactly.
Good. Then we have the Peruvian lily, Inca lily. It's Alstroemeria. It's wonderful for arrangements. Cut flowers that last a super long time. It's one of my favorite cut flowers, and blooms for quite a long time. This is the new series. Takes full sun, light shade. Great plant.
It is, and you know, one of the things that I love about it is as each of these stems starts to kind of die back on the blooms, if you just go down and twist, it pulls it out, shoots up new ones with more blooms on it. It's a fascinating plant.
Yep, that's a nice tip because that twisting is different than you do with most things.
It's true.
All right, another one of my perennial favorites is the delphinium. Having visited Bouchard Gardens, have you been there when the delphiniums are blooming? They're outstanding. So this is just a gorgeous perennial. It does want a better drained soil. Didn't like my heavy clay soils at home, but it grows
But you
great.
learned a lesson.
I learned a lesson. And hey, the other thing is, it's not that expensive. If it doesn't come back from year to year, plant a new one.
Right.
Darn it.
Yeah, there's no shame in that.
No, absolutely not. All right, so then we have the dahlias, which have been one of our most popular color items this year. They are just absolutely fabulous. From the two-tone pink, red behind us, there's a lighter pink, there's been a dark purple,
There's
really
just
gorgeous.
a lot of
There
colors,
are.
which there's got to be a color in this family of plants that will appease every mother.
Yes, absolutely. And they bloom all summer long. They love it hot. Usually they'll form a tuber and come back. No absolute guarantee, but normally they do that.
Right, wonderful, wonderful.
Also the regal geraniums, we used to call them Martha Washingtons, but now they call them regal. And they are very regal, very queenly. Pretty come in a assorted range of pinks, purples, and maroon kind of colors. And they will keep blooming if you keep them deadheaded, and they'll take full sun to light shade as well. Have you ever grown these?
I have, and you know, I think people forget that a lot of the process of the longer bloom time is just paying a little attention, snipping them back so that they rebloom.
Just take that old flower when it's done. If you can, get down there and
pinch it right
pull
out
like
there.
that,
Easy
or else
peasy.
pinch or with shears. New introduction this year from Monrovia is Sunbelievable Brown-Eyed Girl. It is a sunflower that blooms all summer long.
No way.
I know.
That's so cool.
It doesn't come back, unfortunately, but since when have you ever heard of a sunflower where you get all summer long color on it?
No, that's true right there. So there you have it. Yeah, that's lovely. Well, you know, Mother's Day is always a great day for so many of us, and to think about things that you want to get your mom is even better, and it's so much easier if you come out to Garland Nursery, pick a beautiful flower to take home to your mother. Thank you so much, Brenda.
Thank you, William.
Since 1987, French Prairie Gardens has brought you the best in farm fresh produce, beautiful plants, and memorable family events. Spring is here, and now is the time to get your garden ready with our wide selection of bedding plants and hanging baskets. Experience the best the country has to offer at French Prairie Gardens.
The health and beauty of your garden starts from the ground up, and healthy soils begin at Grimm's Fuel. For the best in garden mulch, blended soils, and bark dust, choose Grimm's. U-Haul delivered or installed, Grimm's can do it. And if you're looking for a new lawn, Grimm's can do that too with our special lawn installation service. Grimm's is also the area's largest recycler of yard debris. The foundation for a healthy garden begins at Grimm's Fuel.
Color, color, color. When you think of your garden, think of color. Then think of Margie's Farm and Garden. High quality plants and great customer service are our trademark. Bring a new level of color to your spring and summer garden. This week, our special is trailing 4-inch begonias, 4 for $12. Vegetables or herbs, hanging baskets or perennials, trust Margie's Farm and Garden, just off I-5 near Aurora.
Hi, I'm Burl Mossel with Rare Plant Research. We're a nursery and garden. You're invited to join us the one week in the year that we're open to the public. You can tour our gardens and get inspiration for your own garden. We have 10 greenhouses full of rare and exotic plants. Enjoy lunch from a local caterer while tasting wine at the greenhouses. We will be sampling our wines from Villa Catalana cellars in the Garden Conservatory tasting room. For directions and information, visit us at rareplantresearch.com. Join us and get inspired.
At Garland Nursery, you'll find
top quality plants,
4 generations of garden know-how,
fun and fantastic garden decor,
and the best in garden supplies.
Come visit us at Garland Nursery.
Since 1937, inspiring beautiful and bountiful gardens.
I am at Little Prince of Oregon this week for the plants of the week. And so Mark, you have a collection of ground covers for us, which is kind of fun. Usually it's just one plant we talk about, so it's a whole bunch.
Yeah, so we grow a lot of ground covers at Little Prince, and I want to show you 3 or 4 of my favorites this week and ones that work really well to cover large spaces.
And I love being here. We're in the shipping department, so there's a lot of activity. You can see all the plants that are going to your customers. It's amazing.
Yeah, on any given day, we can have thousands of plants going out here to garden centers in Portland, Seattle.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what do you have for us?
So the first are a couple of varieties of Arctostaphylos. So Arctostaphylos uva ursi is very common ground cover.
Native.
It's a native. So this is emerald carpet, and this is Massachusetts. Massachusetts is theoretically maybe a little bit hardier than emerald carpet, and we sell a lot of this to the East Coast for that reason.
Perfect.
But they're evergreen, they're somewhat drought tolerant, they are deer resistant, and they cover a large expanse of ground.
And a little bit of a flower.
Yeah, they have
so
they bloom in early spring with a white flower that sort of fades to pink, and yeah,
very
great
nice.
plant.
Yeah, it is good. Nice and massive. You have a slope, perfect.
Yeah, this is Rubus pentalobus. It's gets a little berry on it. It's going to provide something for birds to eat. Also evergreen, zone 7, so perfect for the Pacific Northwest. And it has nice fuzzy leaves.
Another one for a great slope.
Yeah, and we'll go out in a little bit and look at some that are out in the garden,
cool.
so you can see big masses of them.
Nice.
This is Gallium odorata, great shade ground cover. A lot of times people are looking specifically for ground covers for shade. This is a perfect one. It has a white fragrant flower in late spring, summer, and they can be sheared down, once they've been done blooming. There's some great gardens in the Northwest that you really use this well as like mass plantings in shade.
It is pretty. Sweet woodruff is so nice, and that fragrance of flower is just like pure spring.
Wonderful, yeah.
Nice. This is pretty.
Veronica Georgia Blue is one of my favorite ground covers with the blue flowers that will repeat bloom. It's perfectly hardy in the Northwest. I've seen it blooming probably 10 months out of the year, especially up in the Puget Sound area.
Very cool.
But anywhere that's got a zone 7 or 8 climate,
nice.
It's a wonderful plant.
And it'll take a little shade?
It'll take a little shade. I'd say morning sun is best for it, but yeah, it's quite flexible.
And really, I want to go show those big beds because they're so impressive. So let's go out there.
Okay, cool.
So Mark, here's this slope filled with the rubus that we just saw in the little plants. So how does it come from this slope to become plants that we buy?
Okay, so we need to maintain large stock beds so that we can take cuttings. So we would have our crew come out here and essentially just pull a little tip cutting like this, and it would be stuck in a 72 cell tray in our propagation house, develop roots, and then it becomes a new 4-inch pot. So to establish a bed like this, you would plant the plants kind of on a grid, say 12 to 18 inches apart, to get good coverage quickly. And rubus is a great plant if your kid's ball goes up in it.
Oh, sure, it takes some walking on it.
You just walk up
sure.
into it, and it's not going to hurt the plant at all. And
it is,
yeah.
it's bulletproof, so that would be really great. So we're going to go to one more of your planting beds. So let's go over there. Now, Mark, what is this a bed of here?
So this is Arctostaphylos, Massachusetts. It's a great ground cover. It's deer resistant. Your kids can run on it if they drop their ball in it. So perfect ground cover.
And so where can we find all your wonderful plants?
You can find it at any garden center in the Pacific Northwest. Go to our website to find out where that's at.
Or go to our Facebook page, Little Prince of Oregon, or Instagram, Little Prince to Go.
And you have some events on your page too.
Yeah, so we have an event coming up here at Little Prince, which is a rare opportunity to visit the nursery itself. So on May 23rd, we are hosting an after-hours event. It's a Hardy Plant Society of Oregon event, but there will be links on our Facebook page. Go there, find out how to register for it, and we look forward to seeing you.
So you got all that information. You can come out to Little Prince, or you can go to your local independent garden center to pick up them there. Thanks so much, you guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
This week's plant pick is brought to you by Little Prince. Our plants won't croak.
Nestled in the oaks of the Willamette Valley is a nursery that is truly exceptional. At Out in the Garden Nursery, you will find a vast array of shade plants, ornamental grasses, and hardy perennials. Let us help you bring color and texture into your garden. We offer over 100 types of perennials. Many of our plants are evergreen for year-round interest. Plus, we offer the best in personal attention. Out in the Garden Nursery, where we grow great gardens one plant at a time.
For 90 years, Espoma has one guiding principle: develop the finest organic gardening products that work in harmony with nature, grow beautiful gardens, and make a greener world for the future. From our soil products to our plant foods, we have always been committed to the environment and sustainability. We use a vast array of natural and organic ingredients and package them in our 100% solar-powered plant. Look for the quality line of Espoma products at your local independent garden center. Espoma, organic from the beginning.
Why do the finest builders shop at Standard TV and Appliance?
We feel comfortable sending our clients to Standard because of their consistent focus on integrity and excellent customer service and best-in-class selection and quality.
Standard can make your dream kitchen a reality, setting the standard since 1947. Standard TV and Appliance.
Hey everybody, my name is Brian Bauman from Bauman's Farm and Garden, and I've assembled some brand new plants for 2019 that I am super excited about. The first one is a petunia called Burgundy Skies, and you can see the little white dots around the petunia petals makes it look like a starry night. It's the brother or sister of Night Sky and Pink Sky that have come out the last couple years. They make a stunning combination put together. Salvias are one of those flowers that bloom all summer long. There's a new series called Skyscrapers. There's a really cool orange, a beautiful purple, and also a brand new fuchsia, which is actually the sister plant to black and blue salvia that has long been a staple in my garden at my house, and I am really excited to see it bloom this year. Calibrachoas are also a great plant for that kind of part sun, part shade area. And this year we have two new varieties that are double. The first one is from Proven Winners called Lovelet. Beautiful kind of pink and white blossoms. The second one is another one that's called Pink-tastic, another beautiful double blossom Calibrachoa. A very popular plant throughout the garden center this last year has always been strawberries. And every year I seem to come up and find new varieties. This variety has a beautiful red blossom, so it works great in containers as a flowering accent, but then throughout the summer, you are greeted with nice size blooming strawberries that taste fantastic. They've taken petunias and calibrachoas and they've combined the two of them to create a new plant called super cows. The super cows have come up with an amazing color called cinnamon. It's very unusual. I've never seen anything like it, and I'm excited to try it in some different combinations around the farm. A couple summers ago, I took a trip to Europe for a family wedding, and I was blown away. They had geraniums that were 6 to 7 feet tall, and I figured, okay, we have to figure out how to do that on the farm. And as you can see, I'm getting pretty close. We're almost up to 6 feet tall, and we now have starts of these available this year at Bauman Farms. It's a geranium called pillar geraniums, and we have an orange, pink, and violet. For all of these really cool varieties throughout the season, come out to the farm and check it out. For more information, go to baumansfarmandgarden.com.
Well, I have to say it is so much fun to be back here at Hughes Water Gardens, and I'm here with Eamon Hughes. And Eamon, one of the things we wanted to just jump into, because this is the time of year when we need to think about all of our different type of water features at our gardens. But let's start with, we're looking at a couple of plants here. There's things we probably should have done last year to prepare for it all.
We could. I found a couple of plants with leaves dying back on it, and a lot of these soft foliage plants die down completely in the winter. It's really important you just go in with the scissors and trim off all of that dead stuff and take it out of the water.
So you're saying as soon as you start seeing this die down, it's time you can go in and take care of that.
Just take it off, because if that rots into the water, it's putting nutrient into the water as it rots, and that's going to feed algae. So you're the whole time trying not to get nutrients in the water that will start algae in your pond.
So really keeping things clean is important.
It's very important. And on lilies, people get sort of confused. It's a springtime thing, but also during the summer, the outer leaves on lilies as they come up will turn yellow and die. That's normal. So what you do is you just pinch them off, low down, take those off all the way around. And what you want to do is get back to just the pure, nice, fresh, new green ones on it. And in winter, as these are going down, probably October into November, I take all the leaves down to the very bottom.
Wow, okay.
And then you'll be in good shape going
so
forward.
Let's say that we did that. Let's say that we were faithful and good gardeners. We got all of that done as the time went on. Then what is it that we need to do to either prepare right now for spring or to already start doing it?
So, one of the biggest questions we get asked in spring is, I've algae in the pond.
Right.
And one of the problems with the algae, particularly that filamentous stringy algae, is it sort of comes before the plants get a chance to get going and lock up the nutrient out of the water. So it comes very early in the year. So it's important to use something in the pond that will help to combat that. And there's a number of products. This is one called Green Clean, which is safe for fish, safe for plants, and this oxidizes the algae and makes it float to the surface, and you can take it off.
And so everything that we're going to be talking about today is actually safe for fish, whether you have koi and stuff like that?
It's all safe for fish, and if you have fish or plants, there are different chemicals for different things.
Different things, okay.
Some people just want to sterilize it. Do not use bleach.
Right, okay, I promise I would never will.
Okay, you can use a strong copper solution, which is safe for animals. It doesn't smell of bleach. It doesn't whiten all of your rocks, but it will sterilize, and no algae can grow in there, but also no fish can grow in there. But plants can. So, and then if you want to completely do it, you just up the dosage, and then you can have something with no plants and no fish and just an environment.
But all of these products that you're going to be talking about are fine for the fish?
These are all fine for the fish. The other thing we want to do is get beneficial bacteria into the pond in spring. And what beneficial bacteria do is they actually break down the nitrates and phosphates and break them off into inert, particles. So that's a very good thing to put into your pond just to get it going. And a couple of them, new strains of bacteria they have, actually dissolve or digest the sludge in a pond. They're called, they'll always say it on it, this one here, liquid bacteria, that's the Green Clean. This one has bacteria with sludge away. So these are microbes with special microbes that actually break down that muck on the bottom of the pond.
Really? Wonderful.
And it'll save you some of the effort of having to clean out your whole water feature.
Okay, Eamon. But if you are going to have plants,
yeah,
don't they still need some type of fertilizer?
They do. So it's sort of that balancing game
Right.
between you don't want the algae to have the food, and at the same time your plants need enough food to grow. And the way of doing that are these little plant tabs. They're a special formulation for aquatic plants. And the reason for that is a lot of plant tabs that you buy in a garden centre have copper in them.
Oh.
And if you have fish in your pond, you can kill them, or even
Right.
zinc. You don't want the copper and the zinc in them. So these are specially formulated just for water plants. And they're a small tablet. If we were to do this lily, the little tablet, you just push it down.
Right into it. Oh,
right
okay.
into it. On a lily like this, I might actually do 4 of them. And that will, on lilies you want to feed through the whole summer because they're very hungry plants and you want plenty of blooms coming.
Yeah, and that's when they're blooming.
Yeah,
So,
so
it
if you
makes
do that
sense.
about every 4 or 5 weeks, you'll get a great flush of bloom the
Wonderful,
whole time
wonderful.
during the summer.
And not have a negative effect on the
Not
pond
having
itself.
you may notice, what we sometimes notice is where this fertilizer is located, you may have algae starting to come out of it. But I tell people go in and just take it away
Yeah,
with a small net.
And what else do you have for us then?
So then the other way, there's some other, if you don't want to use a chemical, people have found this very useful. It's barley straw. Now you've got to be very careful that it is barley that has not been treated in the field with insecticides.
Good point, yeah.
And this has proven, this releases organisms into the water that actually, again, it's more a bacterial thing, break down the nitrates and the fertilizer in the water, and as a result the algae are starved out.
And I've actually seen that in larger pond areas. I've seen it in there, and I don't know if they've just put it in or if it floats down, but so I know people use it.
Yeah, they do a full bale, and some of the bigger systems will just drop it. I don't like the look of it, so I tend to go with some of the other treatments here just to make it work.
And what is that other treatment there?
This other treatment here is just another pond enzyme with a sludge destroyer. They're all different strains of bacteria. The ones we have here we found have been very successful in keeping it clear.
Well, you know, then you've heard it right there. If you love your water features, no matter how small or large, and you're thinking, I just want to make sure that I do it right this year and that that's beautiful year round, all you have to do is come out here to Hughes Water Gardens, talk to Eamon or his amazing staff, get everything you need to make the garden beautiful, even with your water fountains. Eamon, it is always a joy, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, William. Take care.
We wanted to thank you so much for watching Garden Time today, and we wanted to remind you that if you make it out to the Crystal Springs Rhododendron Gardens, do not park on the street, but there is plenty of parking right across the street at Reed College.
And so for more information about today's show, please go to gardentime.tv.
Again, thanks so much for spending time with us today, and we wanted to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day.
Celebrate a spring tradition. Visit the Hulda Klager Lilac Gardens during the annual Lilac Days. Open daily from 10 to 4. See hundreds of blooming lilacs. Tour Hulda's Victorian home and gift shop. Take exit 21 off I-5 in Woodland, Washington.
1,112? 1,113?
William, what are you counting?
I'm counting all of our wonderful friends on Facebook.
And we invite everyone to go to Facebook and like us and follow us.
All you have to do is go to gardentime.tv and hit the Facebook icon, which is in the top right-hand corner.
It's the best place to get the most updated information on Garden Time.
So all you have to do is click us and like us.
The preceding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.